So now we're going to go through the squat assessment part of the CPPS Level 1 certification. You know, Eric learning under a CPPS coach, he has to earn the right to be able to squat with weight, and he has to earn the right to be able to put a bar on his back to squat. So right now I'm going to take him through just 3 standard simple squats with very minimal cueing. So the only cueing that I'm going to give to him is hips back, knees out, and chest up. I want to have you go through 3 standard squats, so go right ahead. So right now I'm looking to see if he has any sort of restrictions in his hips, in his ankles, and I want to make sure that he's not concaving his chest coming forward. So go right ahead, just give me 2 more. Good, and 1 more. Good. Now, what we'll also do to test to see if there is any restrictions is just a simple depth jump. So I'm just going to have you start on this simple box right here. And I'm just going to have you go through 3 depth jumps. When you step off the box, you're just going to land into an ideal position. So I want to make sure that he's properly loading everything correctly and making sure that he doesn't have, again, a hip or an ankle restriction, or that his knees aren't coming in or his foot's not concaving in either. So go ahead. Okay, good. One more time. 2 more times. Good. And 1 more. Good. All right. So all looks pretty good. And the last test we would do is I'll have Eric go through 3 simple squat jumps. So you'll just load your hips down, squat up. You don't have to go too high, but just enough where you're actually have to give some effort into force into landing properly and actually getting elevation up. So go ahead. Good. So land nice and soft. Good. And 1 more. Okay, good. Perfect. So next we're going to go through a simple wall squat. I'm going to have Eric face the wall over here. We're going to start with a little bit of distance between him and the wall first, and then as he's able to display, keeping proper position, I'm going to have him inch closer towards the wall. So the wall squat, I don't have to really emphasize him keeping his chest up because the wall is already going to do that, but he wants to make sure that he's keeping his shoulders locked in position. He's sitting his hips back. He's keeping his knees open and his toes are slightly pointed out, so that way he can really spread the floor with his feet and knees, and he can sit back properly too. And also that he's keeping his brace as well. So once you're ready, you can have your hands up. Good. Sit back, good. Give me 2 more. Okay, good. So try not to bounce too. Slowly pull yourself down, knees open. That's better. Good. So he's adequately able to get into a squat with this distance. I want to have him move up a little bit closer now. Good, a little bit closer. So again, I want to make sure that he's emphasizing sitting his hips back because that's what's going to get loaded first, right along his glutes, which is the primary mover in the squat. So try to come a little bit closer for me. Good. Go ahead, give me 3 squats. So again, try not to bounce down into that hole. Try to slowly come down and come up. That's better. And 1 more time. Okay. So he's got a little bit of a hip restriction due to the fact that his lumbar is coming into extension a bit and that his toes are flaring up a little bit. So one of the ways is that I want to make sure, Eric, if you can keep pressure in your big toe, your pinky toe, and your heel. Really try to clamp the floor nice and tight. Keep that good brace here. So before you start, brace, lock it in, and slowly open your feet and knees out. And really just try to sit back, and again, try not to have that excessive hyperextension. If you're keeping this locked in and braced properly, you'll be able to pull your hips down into a much better position. So give me 3 more reps. Good, try to get a little bit deeper, keep those knees open. Much better. Good. Still keep those toes there, right? Give me 1 more. Okay. So as you can see, he is in a little bit of restriction with his hips and with his ankles. But in this next step here, we're going to go over a wall squat onto a box, and hopefully that'll help him be able to get into a better position. So now we're going to go over a wall box squat. So what I'm going to have Eric do now is he's still going to be nice and close to the wall, but now he's going to have that box there as somewhat of a cue, so that way I know he's reaching proper depth too. So he wants to make sure that he's keeping his feet anchored down properly, his hands are up, he's setting a good brace before he sits down. So go right ahead, give me 3 reps. So make sure you spread the floor with your knees. Good, sit back, good, stand up. So we want to make sure that he's not crashing onto the box. So he's about 250 pounds per se, and I want, when you sit down, I want there, if the box was a scale, to read about 125, 150 pounds. So this is going to teach him to help him melt onto the box and not just have him crash down onto it. So go right ahead. Good, so reach back, spread the floor with your knees, spread them. Good, that's better. So the box is helping him not have so much of a bounce when he gets it down and out. It's helping him make sure that he has somewhat of a target to reach, and it helps him spread the floor a little bit better with his legs. Now also, box squats help target the posterior chain better than a free squat. So what I'm going to have you do, Eric, is if you widen your stance out a bit, good, make sure that as your stance is wider, have your toes out a little bit more, and turn your knees out a little bit more too. So when you sit back, really spread the floor, like really push your knees out as far back as you can. So go right ahead, reach back, reach. All right, better. Good, stand up, and give me one more. Reach those hips back, open those legs up, good. Much better. So his knees aren't traveling forward onto his toes. So his restriction, he doesn't have much restriction in that position as if he had it with a free squat. So the next step would be is to have him do a wall squat, but to have him do under a loaded fashion with a kettlebell. Wall box squat, but with kettlebell tension. So I'm gonna have Eric grab a kettlebell, make sure that he's getting it into an ideal position, not just bending over and pick it up. So hike it up, good. You're getting to the front of the box. So again, we want to make sure that we're melting onto the box, we're not just driving out and crashing. So make sure that we're emphasizing proper breathing too. Breathe. Good. So try not to rock your upper back onto the box, just really sit back, have yourself sitting down for like a second or two, and then explode up. So again, really have the knees and feet open, reach back with the hips. Good, stand up, give me 2 more reps. Really sit back though, open those knees. Sit. Good. So you can melt on the box a little bit longer, but nothing too long. One more time. Reach. Back. Good. So now that he's able to display that he can handle a kettlebell box one against the wall, now we're going to go into a kettlebell squat without the box. So now we're going to perform a kettlebell squat without the box against the wall. So he'll get into that ideal position. Make sure he's picking it up with tension, good. So you want to walk up a little bit farther. Now make sure your elbows are in, make sure he's keeping proper lat tension. He's keeping proper bracing here, and make sure his knees are turned out. So since he's not on the box, he doesn't need too much of a wider stance, so you can bring your feet in a little more. Good. So still displaying the same cues, making sure he's keeping bracing in his diaphragm here. He's starting the motion with his hips to load these guys up properly, and he'll go through the pattern. So as you can see, this is much better than when he was doing the squat without the kettlebell and before, when he didn't have the box as a guide. He's able to pull himself down in a much more controlled manner. He's loading his hips up properly, and there isn't as much of a hyperextension in his back. So make sure you're keeping the proper brace. Good. One more rep. So again, knees open, really reach those hips back. Reach. Good, that's better. Good. We also want to make sure that he's maintaining eye level the whole time. So he's not hyperextending his neck up, or he's not keeping his neck in the flex position down. He's keeping a nice neutral neck, looking straight ahead the entire time.
Good.
So now we're coming off the wall, and we're going to go with a kettlebell goblet box squat. So he's going to be performing the same movement pattern as he was before, but only this time he's not going to have the wall as a guide to keep his chest up and his core braced. So one of the ways that we can help him make sure that he's bracing adequately throughout the whole movement is I'm going to take this light band right here. I'm going to have him take it around his body. Good. He's going to bring it around. We're going to tie it to the front. So we want it tight, but not too tight. In which case, he's able to get that proprioception into expanding through his anterior core, his obliques, and also his keel in the backside too. So now, go ahead. Pick it up, walk back to the box. Good, nice and wide, toes out. Good. Big brace. Good. So go ahead, give me 5 reps. Nice and easy, good. Again, I'm walking around the entire time, making sure that I don't spot any restrictions. Good. And as he's able to display proper mechanics with one height, I want to take away a little bit of the height to see if he can get into more of a deeper squat. So now, Eric, if you hold right there, I'm going to take this out the way. I want to see how you get into more of a deeper setting now. So push out against the belt or the band, nice and tight. Good. Good. One more time. So in time, we will look to possibly lower the level every time on the box, but not too much where he's not going to lose the benefit of the box squat, or he's not going to take too much stress in his back and when his back goes into flexion either. Now we're going to go with a kettlebell goblet free squat. So we're taking away the box. He's going to get into position again. And not much is really changing except now that he has to emphasize more big air, more bracing, and he has to really spread the floor with his feet and knees, even though his feet are kind of brought in a little bit. So give me 5 reps here. Good, there we go. So as you can see, he's able to sit back and load the hips properly so he can get mostly on his primary movers, the glutes. He's breathing, setting the position, keeping the elbows in, making sure that his lats are staying under tension the entire time. Good. Very nice, and you put it down properly too. Good.
You can go.
So now that Eric has displayed proper technique with load when it comes to squatting, he's earned the right to put a bar on his back for barbell squatting. So the first thing is that we're going to go over a standard barbell box squat. So first things first, we'll make sure that he's establishing proper upper body position for it. So he's gripping the bar nice and tight with his hands. He's really trying to pull that bar apart so that way he can pull himself underneath the bar. So go ahead. He's maintaining proper tension throughout his back. He's not putting the bar on his neck, but just slightly below it. And he's maintaining proper tension right here throughout his upper back, throughout his lats here. So once he gets into that powerful position, he's making sure that his legs are also stable too before unracking. So he wants to make sure he's as powerful and explosive as he can before taking a bar off the rack. So make sure that he's keeping a brace here. He'll take a good deep breath with his brace. He'll stand up. He'll exhale. He'll take another big deep breath and set the brace before as he walks back. 4 steps back, 1, 2, settle with his feet. His toes are out, his knees are out. He's looking straight ahead with his eye level, and then he's gonna go over the cues, just like we did with the kettlebell. So go ahead, sit back, tight brace. Good. Walk forward a little bit more for me. Good. A little more than that. Good. He was a little too over the box that time. I want to make sure he can actually really reach and sit back. So go ahead. Knees are open, spread the floor. Good. Maintain your tension right here. Good. Give me 1 more rep. Good. So once he's done with his set, he's going to make sure that he's keeping position as he walks straight ahead. Making sure that he's aiming above the hooks. Make sure he's sliding it down. Make sure that both sides are racked before getting yourself out. Now we're going to go over the barbell free squat. So not much is going to change from a cueing perspective. Instead, now that he's just going to make sure that he can keep proper bracing throughout the entire lift. Making sure that he keeps pressure throughout his toes and hips too. Making sure that he keeps tension throughout his upper body as well. And make sure he's keeping eye level the entire time. So you'll perform it just like you did with the barbell box squat. Make sure he's keeping a nice tight grip with his hands right here. Go ahead, pull yourself underneath the bar. Really try to break that bar in half. Elbows are in, wrists are straight-ish. Make sure that he's keeping tension in his back here. Bar's not on his neck, it's just right before it. So make sure he's nice and strong coming out of the rack. Good. Again, about 4 steps. 1, 2, settle, settle. Good. Big tight brace. Load those hips back. Really sit back. Good. Good. Try your best not to bounce. Really open those legs up. Sit back. Good. And one more time. Make sure you maintain eye level though. Look straight ahead. Tight brace to the core. And walk forward. Make sure that he can get above the hooks. Slowly put it down. Good. just making sure that he's nice and stable before exiting the bar to make sure that the bar is not dangling off one side. I'll go through some troubleshooting techniques for when taking somebody through a squat. So one of the ways that we can troubleshoot is go from a bottoms up box squat. So this is gonna help him enter the tunnel he's gonna get into that ideal position, and it's more than likely he's gonna stay in that ideal position throughout the entire set. So we can get his feet in more of an ideal position. So if you line your stance out a little bit, bring him in a little bit, open your legs out a bit more, and then bring your heel up. Yep, good. So he can keep more of a vertical shin. He can really make sure that his knees are in proper alignment too, that he's not gonna track too far forward or too far back. His hands are up front, like such. His shoulders are set in position. He can keep a good brace with his diaphragm too. And I'm just gonna have you go 3 reps. So stand up. Good. So make sure that you're keeping those toes down. So pressure through the big toe, pinky toe, and your heel. So 2 more. Make sure you can really spread the floor with this. Good. So as you can see, he can reach proper depth. He's maintaining that ideal position in a squat. So 1 more. Good, and sit down. Good. So that's the bottoms up technique into how to troubleshoot. So another way we can troubleshoot the squat is by having Eric go through a tempo squat. So what I'm gonna have him do is he's gonna go through a slow eccentric and through a slow and normal concentric. And this will help me be able to see if there's any type of restrictions, or if he's feeling one side of his body more than the other side, or if he's loading up the squat in a different way than he should. So I'm gonna have you go through 3 tempo squats. So normal on the way down and normal on the way up. So go right ahead, make sure you're bracing properly first. Tight, slow, good. That's it, good. So make sure you keep those feet down. Big toe, pinky toe, and the heel. Spread the floor with those knees, good, nice and slow, good. Good, so this will allow him to kind of feel the squat in all these different ranges and all these different muscle groups too, to see if he spots any, spotting restrictions, or that he feels any sort of restrictions too. So give me 1 more rep. Knees open, good. Good. So that is how we can use the tempo squat in a way to troubleshoot the squat as a whole, to see if there's any sort of restrictions that we need to be more aware. Another way we can troubleshoot the squat is by having Eric either take a medicine ball, or in this case just a light weight that he's gonna hold straight out in front. So you're gonna press straight out in front, arms are straight, and you're just gonna go through a normal tempo squat. But what this is gonna do is it's gonna help him make sure that he can stay tight throughout the whole lift. So I wanna have you go through 3 reps right here. Good. This will help teach him to not have his chest come forward and to concave his chest in anterior core. He's gonna make sure that he can spread the floor properly, he can sit his hips back, and he can keep tension throughout his entire body. So 1 more rep. Good. Good. So this is how we can use this as a way to troubleshoot the squat as a whole, and to helping him make sure that he can keep everything nice and tense throughout the entire lift.